Have you ever heard a noise in the night? A noise so strange it made you leave your safe home? A noise that made you feel curious and also scared? Barnaby the badger heard a noise like this. This is his story. Barnaby was a badger. He lived under the roots of a very big old oak tree in a large forest. The forest had many trees, bushes, and a small river. Many animals lived there. Birds lived in the trees. Rabbits lived in holes. Foxes lived in dens. And Barnaby lived in his home, called a set. Barnaby's set was his home, and he liked it. He dug it himself with his strong claws. Badgers are good diggers. His set had tunnels and rooms. One room was for sleeping. It was dry and warm with soft grass and leaves for a bed. His home was deep under the ground. It was safe from wind, rain, and other animals. Barnaby felt very safe there. Every night when the sun went down, Barnaby woke up. Night was his time. He was usually hungry, so he looked for food. He left his safe set and went into the dark forest. His nose was very good. He could smell many things, especially food. What did Barnaby eat? He liked earthworms best. He used his long nose to push into the soil and find them. Sniff, sniff, push. Yum! He also liked insects like beetles. Crunch, crunch. Sometimes he found snails or berries. Finding food was his job at night. He walked around the forest, sniffing and searching. He knew the forest well. He knew the path near the river. He knew the big rocks. He knew the old stone wall at the edge of the forest. He walked his paths every night. Usually, the night was quiet. He heard the wind in the trees. Whoosh, whoosh! He heard the small river. Bubble, bubble. Sometimes he heard an owl. Hoo-hoo! These sounds were normal. Barnaby knew these sounds. They did not scare him. One night it was different. Barnaby woke up. He was hungry. He walked to the entrance of his set. He sniffed the air. The air was cool. It smelled normal. He came out. The moon was bright tonight. The light made shadows move between the trees. He started his walk. He went towards the river to find worms. Sniff, sniff! He found a few worms and ate them. He continued his walk. He walked under tall pine trees. The ground was soft with pine needles. It was very quiet. Then he heard it. Tap. Just one sound. Tap. Barnaby stopped. His ears went up. What was that? It was not the wind. It was not the river. It was not an owl. It was a new, strange sound. He listened hard. Silence. only the soft wind. Whoosh! Maybe he imagined it? He took a few more steps. Tap, tap. There it was again. 2 taps, clearer. Tap, tap, like something hitting something hard. But what? Barnaby stood very still. He looked around. The moonlight showed the trees and bushes. He saw nothing move, but the sound was real. Where did it come from? He turned his head slowly. It seemed to come from the direction of the old stone wall. The wall was far from his set at the edge of the forest. Beyond the wall was a field. Tap, tap, tap. Now 3 taps. A little faster. Tap, tap, tap. It was definitely coming from the wall. Barnaby felt 2 things. One was curiosity. What was making that strange noise? He wanted to know. The other feeling was fear. A new sound could mean danger. Maybe a fox, maybe something else. His safe set was far away. Should he go back? He stood there for a while. He listened. Silence again. He thought about his warm bed. He thought about being safe. But the question was big. What is that noise? The curiosity was strong. Maybe just a look? He could be careful. He could walk slowly. He could hide. He decided to go towards the old stone wall. He would try to find the source of the tap, tap, tap. He started to walk, but very, very slowly. He put each paw down softly. He did not make any noise. He kept his body low. He used the shadows of trees and bushes. His eyes looked everywhere. His ears listened. His nose sniffed the air. The journey to the wall took a long time. He stopped many times. He needed to be sure it was safe. He saw the old stone wall now. It was long and grey in the moonlight. Some stones were missing. Moss grew on some parts. It looked quiet. But the noise came from here. He found a big bush near the wall. It had thick leaves, a good hiding place. He went behind the bush and sat down very quietly. He watched the wall. Now he was close. The noise might start again. Or maybe the thing that made the noise saw him. Maybe it was hiding too. Barnaby felt his heart beat fast. Thump, thump. He was usually a brave badger, but the unknown was scary. Not knowing was the hardest part. Was the noisemaker big or small? Was it dangerous? He stayed behind the bush, waiting, listening. Fear told him, "Go back, Barnaby, go home." But curiosity whispered, "Stay, find out, what is it?" He did not like this feeling. He liked his normal, quiet night. He sniffed the air. He smelled the old stone, damp moss and grass. No smell of fox, no smell of dog, no smell of human. That was good. But still, what was the noise? He thought about going closer, but what if it jumped out? He stayed behind his safe bush. Waiting was hard. The silence seemed loud. Every little sound made him jump. And then, tap! Just one tap, very close. It came from the other side of his bush near the wall. Barnaby froze. His fur stood up a little. Should he look? What if it was looking at him? He waited. 1 minute passed. It felt very long. Silence, deep silence. Where did it go? Did it hear him? Was it waiting for him? The tension was strong. He wanted to run back to his set. But he also needed to know what is making that sound. He decided to be brave. He would peek, just a little. He moved his head very, very slowly. He moved just one eye past the edge of the bush. He looked towards the spot where the sound came from. He saw the grey stones of the wall. He saw grass. He saw something dark and still near the bottom of the wall. Was that it? It wasn't very big. Was it an animal? Was it sleeping? Or waiting? Barnaby held his breath. He watched the dark shape. It did not move. Tap, tap. The sound happened again, right there. But the dark shape, it didn't move. Barnaby blinked. He looked harder. The sound came from near the dark shape, but the shape itself was still. It was just a dark rock. It looked a bit like a sleeping animal in the shadows. So the rock was not making the noise. What was? Barnaby moved his head a little more, looking higher up the wall above the dark rock. And then he saw it. Tap, tap, tap. There it was again, clear in the moonlight. It was a branch, a small, thin branch hanging down from a bush growing on top of the wall. The night wind, the same soft whoosh, was gently pushing the branch. The end of the branch was tapping against a loose stone in the wall. Tap, 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 tap. When the wind blew a little stronger, it tapped faster. When the wind blew softer, it stopped. A branch! It was just a branch. All this fear, all this slow walking and hiding, for a branch tapping in the wind? Barnaby stared at the branch. He watched it tap, tap, tap against the stone. He felt a little bit silly, but mostly he felt relief. Big relief. It wasn't danger. It was just the wind and a branch making a small night sound. He watched the branch for another moment. Tap, tap. It seemed almost funny now, nothing to be scared of. The curiosity was gone. The fear was gone. Barnaby felt tired. The adventure was over. He turned away from the wall and the tapping branch. He started walking back towards his home. He did not walk slowly now. He walked his normal walk. He just wanted his bed. He walked past the tall pine trees and near the river. He heard the normal sounds again. The whoosh of the wind, the bubble of the river, the faraway hoo-hoo of the owl. These sounds were comforting now. They were the sounds of home. Finally, he saw his big old oak tree. He saw the dark entrance to his set under the roots. He felt happy to see it. He quickly went inside, down the tunnel, into his sleeping room. He curled up on his soft bed of dry grass and leaves. It was warm and safe. He closed his eyes. The strange noise was solved. It was just a branch. The forest was safe. His home was safe. Barnaby the badger fell fast asleep.